Rick Santelli in Chicago this morning, joined by Congressman Kevin Brady. Hey, Rick.
Yes, joined by Kevin Brady, Congressman for the 8th District of Texas, Republican. Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you. This is terrific.
Thanks for taking the time. I'll give you a tour of the floor after we get done here. I guess my first question to you is simple. After reading some of the David Stockman pieces about jobs, looking at U6 employment over 14%, 14.3, our last look. Maybe we're creating jobs, but it certainly seems like we're creating a lot of jobs where the money isn't up to snuff. They're mostly part-time, and I think they're distorting the data that the Fed uses. Your thoughts on the Fed programs, employment, and the economy?
You know, I think the Fed's trying to do too much. Truth is, businesses aren't investing. We already have long-term low interest rates, lots of liquidity. That's not the problem. It's the assurance that they invest in new buildings, equipment, software, new jobs, that they'll be able to sustain it. Until I think we remove some of those fiscal roadblocks, I don't think the Fed, frankly, the recipe they've got isn't going to cure this problem.
100-year birthday for the Federal Reserve, H.R. 1174. It looks to me like you're not a big believer in the two pillars of the Federal Reserve. Your thoughts on that bill, what it is, and two pillars?
Yeah, I really think we ought to focus back on preserving the purchasing power of the dollar over time. You do that, our economy is going to grow. But right now we've got, you know, it's been about 30 years. Congress gave the Fed two mandates that actually don't work very well with each other because the Fed can't control employment, at least in the short term. And so I'd like them to focus them back on that purchasing power, because I think that really is what gives us a big
And what is the name of that bill specifically?
Yeah, it's a Sound Dollar Act that focuses on that one single mandate, I think, that would drive the economy the greatest.
All right, big programs. Let's look at some of the big programs. We have immigration reform. We have health care, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, and, of course, we have tax reform. Let's take the first two. Any thoughts in terms of what passed in the Senate and what now resides in the House regarding immigration?
Yeah, immigration reform is difficult but doable this year. It's going to be a different approach. It's going to be more bite-sized improvements rather than the Senate bill, but I think that's the right way to do it. Security first. We have to get that right just to make sure we don't repeat the problem later on. The workforce part of the Senate bill really is not good. It won't give us that 21st century workforce that we need.
I like this bite-sized notion because, you know, just look at students that come here to get educated from other countries. We should retain some of that talent. There seems like some very low-hanging fruit here, but I have to take issue. Whether it's Republicans or Democrats, whether it's the Reagan era or current era, it seems to me that dollars and plans to protect the borders just aren't working, haven't worked, probably won't work. Why can't we just look at the output side? Why can't we come up with thresholds where here's how many we want to come over the border and monitor it, and let the way we do it not be embodied page after page that probably wouldn't get implemented?
You are exactly right, and that's where the House is going to focus, on the results, on the measurements of the border, not on the inputs.
And while you're there, do that for education as well.
On everything.
How much money flows in? It's the test scores that are flowing out. Okay, the one I disagree with bite-sized pieces is tax reform. We know Cam's committee, House Ways and Means, has been doing this from the ground up. Can you give us some hints?
You know, we are making huge progress. If we're not doing tax reform, no one told Dave Camp, because he's relentless in this effort. We're seeing a lot more. We're going to be ready in the Ways and Means Committee this fall with a Reagan-style rates for families and better than Reagan-style rates for businesses. The Senate starting to see some movement. So you're seeing we're putting the ball in the field. We're moving it toward the goal line. I think you're going to see some action.
In the time we have left, one mandate stands, one mandate doesn't. Business versus individual. I'll tell you what, looking at this program, listening to the way it was sold, the promises that were made, this is unbelievable. If they can't even get it off the ground, how are they going to run it properly? Meaning they, you guys, government.
Well, that's the thing. If Obamacare's not ready for businesses, is it ready for your family, for your child, for someone who's ill? And the answer is no. Both of these, out of fairness alone and the way it all works together, the individual mandate needs to be postponed as well.
Congressman, thank you for taking the time.
Rick.
Carl, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Rick Santelli.